3, 2, 1, drop it.
Alright, and welcome back to another little video I'm doing. Today I'm going to do a video on, as you'll have seen from the title, a video of the things that I don't like about my Seat Leon Cupra R. It's a Mark 1, as you'll know from the other videos if you've seen them. If not, get and watch them. So a few of the things that I don't like are, the first one is got to be the stereo. Now this is an 04 car and the CD player was an optional extra to my knowledge, and the one that mine came with wasn't the CD player, it was just a tape deck. Now for a car that's from 2004, I believe it should have had a CD player as standard. I'll insert a picture of it now. I've inserted a picture because mine's, I've changed mine over to a CD player and a USB with a USB stick. So I can't show you mine, but they tried to overcome this by sticking a CD changer in the glove box, which is cool, you know, and you can use it from your stereo, change for all the CDs and whatnot. So that's cool, but you then lose glove box space. I feel they could have put that in a better spot, maybe under the seat, or I'm sure I've seen in a friend's Skoda Octavia they put it in the boot. So I think that could have been a better place for it. Yes, it would be annoying changing CDs, but your glove box is meant for, you know, your sat nav and all sorts of stuff. But I'll show you a little video now of what you're actually left with when you've got the CD player and the disc changer set up actually in the glove box. So this is what you get. Now this is where the CD changer usually goes. Obviously I've ran mine full of CDs, but if you imagine that is the CD disc changer, then this is the only bit of glove box you get. It's got my sat nav in and a box for the stereo fascia. That is all you're getting in there. It is tiny, and like I say, it's cool in the gang having a CD changer, but they could have found a better location for it in my opinion. So as you'll see from that, there isn't a lot of room at all. Another thing I don't really like about this car is the rear styling. It seems a bit bland to me. I think they could have done a little bit more with it, had it maybe a little bit more aggressive. I'll insert another picture now, and that's what the rear looks like. Obviously on mine I've got some little some little fins that I've put on myself, but that's because I just don't like the rear end. I think the spoiler could have been a little bit maybe stuck out slightly more. Just been a bit more. It just looks like a standard spoiler you'd get on a Rover 25 or something like that. It just doesn't do the rear end any justice in my eyes. And the rear valance bit around the exhaust, and I just think that's too plain, and the way it curves round towards the rear wheels, I just think it's too bland. It's not enough. But that's just my opinion. Another thing I don't like is the rear wheels. They're not, when you lower these, the front wheel hunkers forward. And another thing I don't like about them is the seats themselves. They look nice, I think. They look okay, you know, but they just don't seem to hug you very well. The way when you sat in them, the bolsters and that, they don't feel like they're going to keep you in the place. And as I've said in a previous video, I've had a lot of Rovers and MGs in my time, and the seats in there are so comfortable. They hug you, and you can really feel that you sat in the chair. Whereas these, there's quite a bit of movement, I feel. So I don't really like the chairs. They did come with an optional upgrade of the Recaro version of these, and they do hug you a lot more, and you can actually feel that you're a bit more secure in your chair, if you know what I mean. So they would have been better in obviously all of them, but I suppose it comes down to cost at the time, so we got lumbered with these instead. Which brings me to what my next video will be, which is changing the chairs and the seats and the rear bench to some leather Recaros that came from an S3, an Audi S3. They're a lot nicer to look at, I think. I'll insert a picture here, and that's what they look like. They're a lot more comfortable, and I think they'll suit this a bit more, especially because I've put the armrest in, and the top's leather, and the seats are still cloth. I think having the leather Recaros in here will tie it in a bit better, I think. I will move on to the things that I do like about this car, because there are quite a few of them. The first one being the power folding mirrors. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but when you don't have power folding mirrors and you have to manually do it, if you're doing the driver's one, that's fine. But the passenger one, you've got to get out, walk around the car, or open the window, fold it in. It's just proper annoying. Whereas on these, you just got the little button down here, and you're away. To twist it round to face so that the dot's facing downwards, and that the mirrors will fold in. Another thing that I like about them is the layout of the stalks, the indicator stalk and the window wiper stalk. It's on most of the models you've got on the indicator stalk, you'll have the cruise control. It's very simple to use, which is great. A lot of cars you see these days, and I think of BMWs, you've got a lot of fiddly knobs, and you have to push this and twist that and scroll through this menu to, change the different settings and stuff. And this, it's just simple. You've got it on, and you just press a button on the end of the stalk. So that's what they look like. All you do is you push the button that's on the end of the stalk, and when you've got to your desired speed, and away you go. And obviously to stop it, you just press the clutch down or tap the brake, and that disengages that. There is another button you can press, which is on the front of the stalk, and you've got res on or off. If you've got it to off, obviously pressing that end button won't do anything. It won't set any speed. If you've got it on, and you've set the speed, but then you've stopped, maybe you've had to brake or something like that, if you just pull the little button towards you, it'll reset your speed. So if you've got it set to 70 and you had to brake and you're being lazy, you can just pull it towards you with your thumb, and it will reset the speed that you're going. Another thing I like about these is the other stalk, as I mentioned before, the indicator stalk. I'll insert a picture here so you can see what it's like. And that on that side, you can the button that's on the end of the stalk, you can scroll through a menu that's on the rev counter, that's on the dial, and it will go through to have a flick through time, temperature, miles per gallon, overall, or trip, how many miles you've got left in the tank, the miles that you've done since you last reset that counter, and again you've got trip and overall. You've got an average miles per gallon, an average miles per hour, sorry, not miles per gallon, that was one of the other ones, and a time. You've got an overall time, which at the moment mine's set on 35 hours and 54 minutes, but again you can change that to trip or overall, and then back to time. It's quite interesting to keep your eye on, like the miles per gallon and things like that. Trip wise, I go up to Manchester a lot from sort of South Birmingham, so it's cool to just have a look to see what miles per gallon you've got out of the car, just sat at 60 or 70, whichever. At the bottom of the stalk, on the underside of the stalk, there's a reset button, and obviously that resets your menus. So if you want to reset the overall menus, then you can, whereas the trip just resets virtually every time you turn the car off and you start back up again. On the top of the same stalk, you've got a little toggle that has, I think, 3 settings. 1, 2, 3, 4 settings, and that's the speed in which the window wiper, when it's on the intermittent first click up, the intermittent wipers, you can set how fast they wipe. So I think if you've got it on the quickest setting, you'll get probably a 1, maybe a 2 second delay between each wipe, and then as you come back down them, it will take longer for them to wipe the windows and clear the windows. So you might get, I don't know, a 6 second delay, an 8 second delay, or a 10 second delay, something like that. It's not a very up-to-date feature really, but I think for a 2004 car it was something cool at the time, and I certainly use it a lot. Just saves having to dip the window wiper stalk down just to wipe the window. You can have it just set depending on, I don't know, how heavy the rain's coming down and how quick you're going. If you're going faster, obviously you're probably going to want it to wipe a bit more. So that's another cool thing. I actually think the whole interior styling of this car of the Cupra R anyway, is it's exactly how it should be really. You've got all the little red accents everywhere. There's some on the heater vents. You've also got the red lights on the dash and the stereos and all the little button controls and that on the actual dash itself, and on the little cluster that you've got on your door card, where you've got your power folding mirrors that I showed you before, and on there is the electric windows for the rear and the front. So it just ties in really well. And like I say, I think the overall interior styling is exactly what you'd want. It's all black and red affiliated really, which is what the Cupra R was. The little red badges you get on the steering wheel, the side of the wings, and on the rear badges as well. So obviously, to save you having to do it, they've done it all for you, which is a cool thing really. And the last thing I'm going to mention is the styling of this car from the front. I actually do like the front end and sort of like a side shot. It looks a lot better than the rear anyway. So that's just a couple of things that I do and don't like about this car. And as I said, my next video will be of the leather Recaro's install, so make sure you subscribe and like, and you'll get a notification when I post a video. Thanks for watching.